Riize accused of manipulating charts? But when does a prank go too far? And what happened to Itzy's music video views? All that and more on today's episode of Totally Legit K-pop News with me, Angelina. I know it's been a long time, but there really hasn't been a lot of news recently. Like, I've just been sat there like waiting on some things to happen, and there's some things that happen, but like I feel like I need a certain amount of news to make a video, otherwise what's the point of making the video? So I don't know. But then there's like no videos at all, but I've been posting shorts every day, but I feel like that's not enough. With all that said, I'm really happy to be back with you guys today to talk about some news. But before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with the friends you don't have. You can also feel free to skip through to whatever subject interests you the most. Resources linked below, as well as everything we're talking about today, all my social media as well, if you want to go follow my second channel where I upload vlogs and shorts as well. And yes, let's start. If you've been a K-pop fan for a while, or maybe I shouldn't say that because it really took me years to even know what a B-side track was. To even know, I'm trying to think of like terms that I feel like you guys just invented that didn't exist in second gen, but I digress. Saudi was another one, Song of the Year. I'm like, I've never heard that chronology. No, what do you call that? SOTY, Song of the Year. What do you call when you do that with letters? Jeez, I digress. Maybe you've heard of this, maybe you haven't heard of Sajaegi, which is basically chart manipulation in a K-pop context. More specifically, actually, according to NPR.org, the illegal bulk buying of any item. So when it comes to music, unethical and or illegal boosting a chart ranking, for example, entertainment agencies bulk buying their own CDs, or probably more likely in the digital era, using bots or computer farms to repeatedly stream songs and hike up chart numbers. So we've definitely seen some big names being accused of this in the past. The last time I personally covered it years ago, I think, was for Twice. Oh my god, 4 years ago almost. Hantel. Official statement to clarify Twice's Sajaegi accusations. We verified all relevant sales data and confirmed there was no suspicion action involved. They ended up being cleared of these accusations, but the newest group to be on the receiving end of such accusations are, of course, Riize. For their debut album, Get a Guitar, because it seems that fans noticed that the album sales have decreased. So let's take a look at this. Riize under suspicion of Sajaegi after their yearly album sale decrease. So back in September, of course, they released Get a Guitar, which earned them the title of million selling album in the first week of sales because they got approximately this number of copies. All that within a week. However, now according to Circle Chart's monthly album sales chart from September of 2023, Get a Guitar had 1,039,600 copies by the end of the month. But like I said, fans noticed that this number has decreased. This number has changed. So here we see the comparison, 1,039,600 versus 1,038,084. So the article then goes on to talk about fan sign events where people were required to, of course, purchase albums to participate. That's generally how fan signs work, right? The more albums you buy, the more chances you get to get into a fan sign. What didn't make sense for netizens was that since their debut, Riize has thus far held over 60 events which requires fans to purchase albums for special privileges or benefits. So they're noting that all of these events, including the ones that happened after they released, Talk Saxy or Love 119, apparently required fans to purchase Riize's debut album, Get a Guitar. And yet, instead of adding to Riize's yearly album sales record, these events were lowering the group's sales numbers. So we have, I don't know what any of this means. Oh, what does this mean? Thank you, all K-pop. It's not unusual or illegal for K-pop artists and their companies in partnership with album distributors to place orders for albums in advance with special events in mind. This allows album distributors/sellers to order more stocks than they would typically expect to sell, announce fan signs or lucky draw events that will take place later in time in advance, and have fans bulk purchase large amounts of albums within the first week or first few weeks of an album's release. Okay, so apparently when companies do this, they make sure to fill the quota, which is essentially before wrapping up promotions for that specific album, they hold the necessary amount of special events and ensure that the albums ordered and sold in advance accurately reflect the sales. But here's what netizens noticed that was different with Riize. Apparently, again, this is all alleged, like we just mentioned earlier, Twice was also accused of this, and later they were cleared of those accusations. So number one, the fact that the boy group failed to fill the quota that they had intended to achieve, instead resulting in Circle Chart recording a decrease in overall album album sales. I guess that would explain the change in numbers. The group beginning promotions for new songs and holding events associated with those new promotions, but with the old Get a Guitar album. Then number 3, boasting the title of million sellers when in fact it is difficult to prove that the group would have sold 1 million copies of their debut album in the first week sales without the advance order trick. So here's what some netizens said. SM pulled a fast one to build hype for Riize so they could have a million seller title, but in the end we won't ever know if they were actually capable of selling 1 million albums just with their debut. In the end, all of the awards that they got, all of the attention that they've been getting as rising rookies was all fabricated lies. If you're going to cheat, you just need to make sure you don't get caught. They should feel ashamed about being called million sellers. They barely met that 1 million quota by holding 60 plus fan events even after they finished promotions and released new music. They shouldn't be getting the best rookie award, they should be getting the best Sajaegi award. SM tries so hard to market itself as the top company in K-pop, but in reality, it can't compete with others unless it uses cheap methods. I'm laughing so hard thinking of those days when Riize fans bashed other rookie boy groups fandoms for trash album sales. So going through some other comments, there are some people saying that it's not illegal technically, but it's not quite moral. That actually a lot of companies do this, but I don't know. Let me know what you think of this situation. Again, unless like a specific known entity comes out and says this is what happened or this is not what happened, then I'm just gonna take this as speculation. So there's actually this post on Reddit that says, has anybody clarified the Riize Get a Guitar's Sajaegi controversy yet? Basically saying that the original Pan post talking about this might have had a translation error. I actually didn't see this on Pan. Wait a minute. Oh, literally the first post clarifying Riize's Get a Guitar's Sajaegi. I mean, let's give it a little look, see if it says anything different from what we just read. Basically, OP claims that Riize sold 1.09 million copies during the first week sales, but instead 80K was ordered during that time but added after the first week sales. OP claims that SM basically told labels to sell 1.09 million albums ahead of time to match the events they will be holding, but the first week sales showed 1.01 million because there was 80K that failed to be captured in the record. However, chronologically speaking, they haven't sold 1.09 in only a week. Anyways, back to the Reddit post. The theory is that SM Advance bought a certain number of albums to reach 1 million first week sales. These are not sales by actual customers. They become legitimate if a customer buys them. SM had 60 events involving the purchase of albums to sell what they bought. People started noticing that despite having several events, Riize's sales didn't increase. In fact, they decreased slightly on Circle Chart for December compared to September, the debut month. Decreases happen when albums are returned. It's not Sajaegi because the albums were eventually purchased by actual consumers. It would have been if SM did not sell the albums and did not return them. It's also not too much of a concern because the gaps between Hanta and Circle are so small, but SM had to hustle to make them legitimate sales for Circle Chart. It also shows that companies can boost sales momentarily for flashy headlines. Granted, the albums are eventually sold. That's really the main takeaway, and it's likely other companies do it too. Again, unless, a well-known, profitable? No. For me, unless like a reputable entity comes out and says, this is what happened or this is what didn't happen, I'm taking everything with a grain of salt. So that's that. Moving on to an instance that happened seemingly at the Asia Artist Awards in 2023. Literally last year, so long ago, but the videos recently are starting to circulate where basically the actors and singers were playing this game where they had to pick a couple of artists that they were excited to see their work in the future or something like that. Let's take a look because fans are a little upset about, ZB1 and StayC in these clips. So the challenge is basically to pick 3 people whose work you're most looking forward to seeing. So Itzy voted for Enmix, Le Sserafim voted for Youngji, but when it came to Zero Base 1, they noticed that not many people voted for us. Quote. So in this situation, it seems that they ended up voting for themselves and similarly for StayC, except it seems that they didn't have any votes themselves, so they as well voted for themselves. So here are some responses to this. I just want to give them a big hug. Konu quietly going, oh no, when he realized ZB1 only got 2 votes as the artist people wanted to do a challenge with. Whoever had that idea is evil. These boys have major trauma with voting. Oh no, because of Boys Planet. Why is it even a thing? This is just crushing spirits for no reason. It's a gif. I'm scared to. People talk about Vernon's fan calls a lot. I want to know what the question was. Actually, why the F do these charts in the first place? It's pointless and just leads to pain for the poor artists who are not usually from the big four, are left out despite their achievements, popularity, and talent. What's the point? StayC and ZB1 being the two groups I've seen consistently support and visibly react positively to stages from all artists, and yet they're the ones who get absolutely nothing back. So some people think that it was very unnecessary to do this. It's kind of, it's kind of like in gym class where you're picking people for your group and somebody is going to get picked last. But I definitely wonder about this. I mean, what if StayC were like one of the first to go to the board, or do you know what I mean? Like the timing as well, you have to consider that. And also it is indicative of real life situations, like getting picked last for sports or not getting a promotion over someone else. What do you think of this? Because I feel like idols have very tough skin and sometimes we're the ones to baby them a little bit too much. I mean, I'm guilty of it as well. I remember watching an episode of ATEEZ's Wanties where the members had to choose each other by giving each other roses in a locker, and then Mingi goes to his locker and there's no roses. And I would like to say that he handled it pretty eloquently, but he was definitely whining about it, and I did feel bad. I found myself wondering, like, what's the point of this game if one member is not going to get a rose and another member is going to get 3 roses? Like, what's the point of seemingly pitting people against each other? Do you guys remember that though? I'm gonna find it for you. Literally this episode. But you know what I mean? Like, if I didn't receive a rose from anybody, on one hand, I am filming for a show. This is my job. I do need to play it up to a certain extent. So would I actually feel bad, or would I just not really care? I often wonder about these things. So let me know what you think. Do you think it really was just harmless, or was it truly heartbreaking? I saw an article about a prank towards Enhypen that went too far, so we have to look into this. Now, it seems fans are blaming staff, though some members were involved in it as well. DMNT, does anyone remember when they were Dalmatian? Sometimes these pranks are taken too far in the eyes of netizens, like the broken camera prank played on an already debt-ridden Chinese, or when a former DMT member was kidnapped by a crazed fangirl. What? Wasn't there a prank where BTS got kidnapped as well, like in the States or something? I don't remember very well. That's definitely way too far. Personally, I hate all types of pranks. It's not for me. I'm not very well receptive to that. But anyways, for Enhypen in particular, the staff tell Jongwon he will be doing a prank on the members with Heesung acting as a wingman. The prank is centered around Jongwon messing up while fake filming content with the other members, including a moment where he is supposed to faint. So in this clip, you're going that far. I don't know if this will work. So those are their words. They express a little worry over the content before expressing they believe they can make it work. So apparently an instance that made fans uncomfortable is when Jongwon dropped a mic pack and he was being scolded by Heesung. Throughout the pranks, Jongwon appears to be worried about being able to pull them off. I am nervous. Who getting nervous? So it seems that they didn't follow through with the whole fainting aspect of the prank, though I have my suspicions and I'll tell you a little bit later. But the fact that it was even suggested did not sit well with fans. Originally, I was supposed to clutch my stomach and collapse. Oh my god. While explaining the mic pack prank, the members explained that they reacted by not reacting out of consideration. Jongwon says he knew the pranks would not work, so he chose not to pull off the fainting. So he decided not to faint in front of everyone. So they talk about not wanting to pile on someone, reading the room, all that jazz, hence their reactions. So here's what some fans think. It's actually so upsetting how little the staff know about Enha's humor. The concept of being a spy or pranking the members could have been really good. Instead, you decided to put the members in such an awkward and uncomfortable position. How is that okay? I just watched it today. This is so uncomfortable for Jongwon. I'm so disappointed at the Engo Clock staffs. I really hope Belift never puts Enha in the kind of situation they put them in for today's Engo Clock ever again. Call me dramatic, but seeing Jongwon so nervous, anxious, and upset the entire episode was simply not it. I don't care. Again, personally, I hate pranks. I was literally in Walmart once and this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Can you subscribe to my YouTube channel?" And I'm like, "Are you filming this?" Like, because I saw, he shows me his YouTube channel on his phone and it's like, he's pranking everybody. I'm seeing the videos out of the corner of my eye. He's pranking everybody. I'm like, "Are you filming this?" He's like, "No." I actually have a theory about K-pop idols and pranks. Maybe it's really not that life-changing. It's actually probably super logical, but for an industry that is so focused on an idol's image, pranks just have such a capacity to go wrong. So I definitely think parts of a prank are often cut out, or they simply invent a new prank if the original prank didn't work. For example, IVE. All of them except for Wonyoung were pranked where a staff member pretended to accidentally drop a cake, so then the member was faced with taking the blame for that staff member so they wouldn't get scolded. Isol actually got some backlash for her reaction because she seemingly walked away. However, Wonyoung was given a completely different prank, which makes me wonder if they originally did the cake prank on her and they just didn't like the reaction. I'm not saying she did anything bad. I mean, what if she cried? What if this happened? Anything could happen in a prank that you might not want to share with everybody. I mean, you could make someone cry, you could have someone feel overwhelmed, you could literally make someone look horrible and face backlash from fans. Another example is this AT's hidden camera prank. We see videos of a couple of members, however, we only end up seeing Seonghwa and Wooyoung's pranks. What happened to Yuno and San's reactions to these hidden cameras that we clearly see them teasing at the beginning of the video, yet we never see the full thing? I was just researching to make sure that they never actually uploaded like Yuno and San's version of the pranks, and I came across this tweet and I clicked on the link, and I just want to say that this is the second time that I've fallen for this, because I swear in 2020 I probably clicked on it as well. So I think pranks are just too risky for K-pop. So I think they end up just not showing you the outcome of it entirely, inventing new pranks if they didn't like the reaction, or maybe cutting out parts of a prank, which made me wonder about Enhypen. Maybe they did end up fainting and the reaction was not good. Maybe someone cried, maybe someone called 911, maybe it literally went too far and they cut that out. You really never know, so let me know what you think of that. Streaming culture in K-pop, of course, is huge, and numbers play a really important role in that. I mean, even companies celebrate certain milestones and a music video reaches a certain number of views. But when it comes to Itzy, people have been noticing seemingly a lower number of views in comparison to their other works. So there's definitely a lot of theories that people have. So let's take a look at this. What could this possibly mean? K-pop fans discuss the reasoning behind Itzy's low music video views lately. Are they really that low though? Now, of course, for context, Itzy are having their first comeback without Leah because she is on hiatus. Every time I said that, people are like, what happened? She's on hiatus. We hope to welcome her back soon, but for now, they're just 4 members. And they've been releasing so many music videos. Each member had their own solo music video. We had a couple, I think, pre-release tracks, and then the title track, Untouchable. That's a lot of production. That's a lot of music videos to film. And given the fact that K-pop music videos these days tend to be glorified dance practices, it wouldn't surprise me that there's not a lot to draw people in. Like, if you have a storyline, you have a plot twist, like, I don't know, I feel like that would draw more people in, but then that is more expensive to create, isn't it? Compared to just put a fancy background, have people dance, get a couple face shots, done, and it's probably a lot cheaper. You don't have to hire as well, you have backup dancers, but they already work for your company. You don't have to hire an actor. Though in second gen, they didn't hire actors, they would just hire somebody else from the company. I feel like Cube did this a lot. Or trainees. What happened to that? I digress. Anyways, so the music video views. Given that Itzy's last couple of comebacks, Cake, Sneakers, drew heavily mixed reaction from fans, it seems that JYP Entertainment has made a huge effort to really push and promote the girl group's newest comeback with all these music videos. So here are the views on the music videos. So Untouchable, 3 million views in a day. Mr. Vampire, 5 million views in 8 days. Born to be 12 million views 3 weeks ago. So naturally, 3 weeks ago, you'd expect it to have the highest amount of views. But I also think once you have a gap between your music videos, right? That's the thing. When you do pre-releases, I feel like it inherently hurts your title track's views. If we compare How You Like That versus Lovesick Girls, which one... Granted, very different concepts, but you also had How You Like That came out first, and that was the pre-release. That's the first thing that comes to... A lot of people forget about Lovesick Girls being a title track. And which one has more views? The dance practice, actually. I don't know how that happened. So it seems somebody asked on Reddit, why are Itzy's music video views so low recently? Let's actually just go straight to the source. Why are Itzy's music video views so low recently? By big Itzy fan since debut. I saw that Itzy's music video for Untouchable has 2.5 million views in 24 hours. I know that for Cake, the music video in 24 hours was in the 3 millions. Why are their views so low now? I know that music video views aren't everything anymore, but I'm still curious. I do wonder. I'm like, do you see me hesitating? Because I don't want to be like, that is really low. I do think a lot of people try to aim like 10 million views in 24 hours. Or what music video reached Was it even possible? Is this a memory in my head? Reached 50 million views in one day. I think there was one music video that did that, right? So I don't think it's super out of pocket, but let's see what some people have to say. I think JYP has decided to stop using ads and just lets the music video get viewed organically. If you look up how many of the views of your fave music videos actually come from ads, you will quickly realize that while K-pop is big, it is still fairly niche. So this is a comment that I think we're going to see a lot, that JYP stopped buying ads. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't see ads anymore, but let me know, have you seen any untouchable ads? Have you seen any ads for Mr. Vampire before you watch a video on YouTube? Are you seeing those? Because apparently those count as views. Someone responded to that, just came across a la 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 ad. I think they're just not putting as much effort into Itzy. They basically dropped 7 music videos in 3 weeks. Think at this point the casual, oh, Itzy has a new song viewers have completely dropped off. Personally, I only really check out their music anymore if it has really good word of mouth. Just had too many comebacks that I really didn't like to bother listening to each release. 7 music videos in 3 weeks. That's overkill for sure. I have definitely not seen all of those music videos. I made a short recently about how K-pop debuts aren't special anymore because you have so many pre-release activities. You see the group perform everywhere before their actual debut that by the time they actually debut, you kind of already know the group and it's not super exciting. I mean, don't get me people crucify me all the time for saying that because you might still find the debut super special. That's so valid. I feel you. I just mean that when people debut these days, it's not a big event to look forward to. It's a very drawn out event. It's just different. That's all I'm saying. It's the same thing for comebacks. When you have 3 title tracks or 5 pre-releases and as 3 title tracks, when you have so many pre-releases and so many title tracks, you just have more chances of a lot of people watching that one big event than 7 different events that don't seem as special. Itzy are a fairly old group by K-pop GG standards at least. It's their first comeback with one member on hiatus. Some people don't stream it on purpose to show their displeasure, as they have the right to do. Use your viewing power to show companies that you like and don't like as a consumer. That's another good point, I think. But it does feel weird to continue without a member for some people. So I guess that would make sense. Itzy are simply not K-pop darlings anymore. They still have a really loyal and sizable fandom, but Korean GP is simply not tuning in like they used to. Highest views for Itzy come from pandemic years when we had nothing to do. Now people are busy with work, school, and social life. They released 6 music videos prior to Untouchable. The rollout was extremely long and saturated, so people are naturally too tired to stream. Streaming culture is slowly dying out as the YouTube algorithm continues to crack down on bots. No ads. JYP has recently stopped buying ads for Itzy, or at least as many ads as they used to. If you look at the majority of music videos from K-pop groups, you'll see that more than 50% of these use are ads, and that's me lowballing. Some music videos are 90% ads. JYP is now implementing the organic views growth strategy with Itzy. It would be interesting to see music videos with their organic views only. Maybe YouTube recently revamped how they track and calculate views. Oh, in addition to what others have said, I think it was an extremely poor idea to release an album with the title Born to Be and a song with the same title, which is not the title track. A lot of casual listeners think that Born to Be was the title track and don't tune in for Untouchable. Again, coming back to having that one title track, the powerful Big Bang title track. When the structure is you have the title track and then you release a B-side on the side, maybe, is that it's not confusing. People know this is what we're tuning into. But when you have 7 music videos, what is the title track? Not everyone is a hardcore fan and is going to know, oh, this is one of the 6 pre-releases. This is one of the, do you know what I mean? So definitely let me know what you think about this. Why do you think JYP is apparently not buying ads? If this is standard practice, why stop doing that for one group? Since we're on the Reddit train today, the lovely Vanessa sent me this chart and I wanted to discuss it with you guys. So this is by Tired of Smiling. Let's play a game. So you can choose either side A or side B, but you can't listen to any groups on the other side for the rest of your life. The rest of your life. Okay. So on side A, we have 2PM, Girls' Generation, Super Junior, 21, BTS, Twice, NCT, Mamamoo, Stray Kids, G-Idol, Enhypen, LE SSERAFIM, Riize, and IVE. But then on side B, we have Big Bang, FX, SHINee, Wonder Girls, EXO, Blackpink, 17, Red Velvet, ATEEZ, ITZY, TXT, NewJeans, Treasure, and aespa. Which side are you choosing? First, leave down in the comments below which side you think I'm choosing. It's side B. I'm definitely choosing side B. I know I love 21 and I would die for 21. But I'm not being stuck with Super Junior, nor I love Girls' Generation 2. I love Twice. And I really have been liking IVE recently. But Side B just has more of like my faves, like aespa, New Jeans, 80s, literally Blackpink. Being stuck with Red Velvet wouldn't be the worst thing ever. Apparently they have a very vast discography that I've yet to even touch the surface of. You guys constantly talk about Red Velvet B-sides. That would be fun to look into. Of course, Big Bang. I loved early Shiny. I was a Shaolin until Sherlock came out. So as much of a crime it seems to choose, I would have to go for Side B. So let me know in the comments which side you would choose. It would literally tear my heart into pieces to never be able to listen to Girls' Generation or 21 and Twice. Oh my god, early Twice. So that's our little discussion segment on today's video. Now let's move on to Kpop Shenanigans, which are basically fun little things that have happened in K-pop recently. So we don't have a today and protest trucks, but we have like the opposite of a protest truck. This is Taemin's international fans sent a gift truck to SM with messages of love and support for a Taemin World Tour in 2024. So it's not necessarily a protest truck, but it's a gift. Oh my god, I just thought international fans are guilty of wanting more. Oh my god, can you imagine? That's really cute and clever. So Brave Brothers are debuting a new girl group named Candy Shop, and it seems some people aren't too happy with that. Is this really the name? I really think he should reconsider. Why is he choosing a name with unusual connotations? He really doesn't have any taste. LOL. Wow, seriously, what shop? Don't do it. You should retire because you have no taste. Brave Girls would have blown up if the label did its job. You guys threw away that great opportunity. You have no taste. So I wanted to know what you thought of the name. Next up, I came across this post and I just wanted to share it because it was so positive. I found my ideal type in Riize, and of course it is no one other than Shotaro, who is also my bias in Riize. For those who don't know, I had a parrot dream about him. Before that, should I say this? I don't know why. Do you ever just like, it's fine now. I made like 20 edits of him with parrots. Water under the bridge. So I just love seeing Shotaro receive love. Next up, we have to talk about Jungkook's FHSA. What does that stand for? First Home Saving Account. So on the Canadian government's website, for the first home savings account, apparently they use the name Jungkook for like this fake scenario, right? So here we have it. Jungkook opens his first FHSA on October 2023 at the age of 25, like all that jazz. Now, when I personally go on the Government of Canada's website, you'll literally see the Canada.ca closing your FHSA. It says Jungkook forgets to close his FHSA. But then when I go on the website, I don't know where to find this. Jungkook, oh my god, guys, I found it actually, never mind. Jungkook, it's literally, I can confirm it, literally on the Government of Canada's website. Jungkook opens his first FHSA in October 2023 at the age of 25. Oh, they also use other names for other scenarios like Sophia, but a lot of people think a K-pop stan wrote this one. So I just wanted to check that out for myself. That's so funny. Speaking of, so our K-pop song of the day is actually IVE's Off the Record. This is a song that I didn't really love at first, but it just, I swear to God, I think maybe it was because of TikToks or something, but I don't remember really hearing a lot of TikToks with it. But I just know I kept having the late night conversation. Late night conversation. That song is stuck in my head. That part is stuck in my head. So let's listen to a little bit of it. Originally, I wasn't super huge fan of like the more retro, like 70s feel to it. But now like I picture choreography to it, even though I think there's an official choreography. I haven't seen it actually. I really didn't pay attention to Off the Record as much as I did Baddie. So my favorite part again is the late night conversation. But my second favorite part is these vocalizations. How beautiful is that? How angelic is that? I love that part so much. And then of course another one of my favorite parts. So that's just my K-pop song of the day, and I highly recommend it. If you didn't like it at first, maybe give it another go. I don't know. So as the snowblower is getting increasingly louder and closer, this is where we're going to end the video. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with the friends you don't have. You can also join my Patreon well, maybe just or my channel members by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. As for me, I'm gonna get going, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Okay, so I put some dry shampoo on before filming, but I literally brushed it out everything. I even put like a root filler to make sure that I covered the white. So tell me, as I start editing, why my hair looks so white at the root. I had to try color correcting it. I don't even know what color correction is. I don't know how to do it. So then I did something to make my hair a little bit darker so it doesn't look so light at the top just because of the dry shampoo, but then my teeth look more yellow. So I just had to explain that to you, why it might look different. And I don't know what to do next time. Just not use that dry shampoo, because I literally put like a color, like a root touch up, so that it wouldn't be so white, and it's still so white.